Sorry, I didn't unmute the mic.
One more
Because
time.
I'm acting producer and ghost keeper. Anyway, Vince, go ahead.
This is live. Welcome to the Castle of Spirits True Ghost Stories podcast, where we are broadcasting live from the Castle of Spirits, somewhere in the nether regions of castles.
Okay.
And my name is Vince. I'll be your ghost keeper tonight.
My name is Jane, and I'm also going to be your ghost keeper tonight. You get 2 ghost keepers
For the price of one?
for the price of free, actually.
For the price of none, actually.
Right.
Which I think is pretty good.
That's a hell of a deal.
I can't believe that you guys are complaining about this.
I know.
How could you?
Who's complaining about it? Did we get a complaint email?
I'm not going to talk about that. We'll discuss that later.
One time we got a story submission, and all it said was, I hate you.
Did we really?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Wow.
I think it was that ghost in the cellar, Jeff.
Jeff, yeah. A lot of ghosts named Jeff around here.
We have 2 of them, actually.
If there's going to be a ghost name, you'd think that the ghost
look,
would
and
be
Jeff
called...
Sovich, our good friend, just showed up in chat.
We really weren't talking bad about you, Jeff.
No.
She just picked that name randomly.
No, the ghost's name is Jeff.
I think it might be actually called Jask, but that's only if you're a What We Do in the Shadows television fan.
Yeah.
So, Ghost Keeper Jane.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing here tonight? We're broadcasting this live on YouTube. If you're
Yeah.
listening to us in podcast land, you'll know that that we're broadcasting this on podcast land. But
Whatever that means.
if you really want to, you can come on Saturday night and watch us live and get a spoiler for what's to come on Monday morning.
That's true.
In the potosphere, as they call it.
And you get to see Vince's potato head.
That ain't the only thing that's potato about me. But,
Kind of true.
but we're kind of hip because, we have microphones, right? We're just not holding them.
Oh, we're cool potatoes.
Cool potatoes. I like that.
Yeah, you asked what we were doing tonight, and I thought maybe we could mix it up a little bit.
Stir it up.
I
like
was
it.
thinking maybe tonight we could tell ghost stories.
Oh, I mean, we could do that. We could do that.
Yeah.
For the live viewers, I want you guys to see my shirt real quick. I think that's
Yes.
I think it's a picture of
It's Sasquatch writing.
a cowboy
Nessie.
Sasquatch riding Nessie.
I got it off of Etsy like 15 years ago or more.
And it's taken me that long to fit into the shirt. Bump. But I digress because Jane, Ghost Keeper Jane,
That's
you
me.
said you were going to read us a scary story.
I am.
And I, for one, can't wait for this.
Well, hold on to your butt because
Okay.
it's a scary one.
Well, hang on a second. I got to rearrange if I'm going to do that.
He's actually going to hold on to his butt, I guess. All right. Ghost Keeper Vince, are you ready?
Ghost Keeper Jane, I am so ready that I probably look like I'm not ready.
Oh, wow. Okay. This story is called Uninvited Entity, and it was submitted by Kat in Pennsylvania in March of 2025. Hello, Jane and Vince. Hi. This will be one of those long stories you might skip over, but I hope you'll give it a read. Did not skip over it, Kat. There is no resolution as I have no idea what the entity was that was in our house. I have to give some background as to some experiences that involved him that are relevant to the terrifying experience we had. My son, now 31, was about 3 years old at the time of this incident. At one point in the same house, he had come up alongside me and started to say, "Mommy, and then paused, pointed to the kitchen, and asked me, "Who's that?" I peered into the kitchen, not seeing anyone. I asked him who he was talking about, and he said, "Right there," like I was an idiot. I knew he was seeing something that I could not, so I asked him what the person looked like, whether like me or Grandpa or Grandma. He said, "Grandma." Then his eyes followed whatever he was seeing obviously walk out of the kitchen and out of the front door. Then he resumed with his question he had originally come in to ask me, like nothing had happened. I realized he had what I originally called a gift that I would later decide not to help him hone because of the main experience I'm writing about. It would become obvious to me that he was a magnet for not only the benign, but those that could cause harm, and he had none of the tools to protect himself at his age. This next part is relevant to another incident, and it will become clear why I included it. He used to sit on the floor of the kitchen, playing with his toys, while my aunts, mother, and I would sit around the table, drinking coffee and chatting. He would repeat what he was hearing us talk about in a completely monotone voice, no inflection at all, just repeating what he was hearing without any emotion. After my father died, he was crying, knowing he wouldn't see his grandfather again. I was in the dining room speaking with the hospice nurse, holding him, facing toward my back. All of a sudden, he stopped crying and said in a monotone voice, "I'll see you again." Both the hospice nurse and I stared at each other with wide eyes. She said, "Did he just..." And all I could do was nod. Just as in the kitchen, he was repeating what he heard. He and my father were thicker than thieves, attached at the hip, and I didn't exist whenever those two were with each other. So I didn't find it surprising that my father was saying goodbye to him. When I asked my son what he just saw, he yelled, "Nothing," and resumed crying. This brings us to the incident in our house that was so terrifying. My son had always been a happy child and wasn't prone to fantasy, as hard as that is to believe about a child. He's always been an old soul and far beyond his years. We had just finished watching a show, and we were on our way for him to go to bed. I was holding his hands, which were above his head. He was in front of me, and we were singing something and kind of dance walking down the hall when he suddenly stopped dead in his tracks and was trembling so badly, I had no idea what was happening. I kind of chuckled and said, "What are you doing, silly?" My usually articulate son was pointing down the hall and stuttered out, "Monster." Mind you, a split second before this, we were laughing without a care in the world. No child at that age of 3 has the capacity to go from that to absolutely terrified in a split second, as if they planned to just freak you out. So I know he was actually seeing something. I know you like to run a clean show, but I'm going to tell you what I said verbatim, and you can decide whether to use it as is or edit. Oh, we're using it as is. After he pointed and said "monster," my mama bear kicked in, and I did the one thing they tell you never to do. I confronted whatever was in our house. I yelled out, "Get the F out of our house. You're not welcome or invited. I will follow you through the bowels of hell if you continue to threaten my child." Looking back, I can't believe I took such a risk. But my son was my whole world, and it was obvious this thing was targeting him because I couldn't see it. I just didn't think. I acted. My son visibly relaxed, so I knew the entity was gone. Needless to say, he slept with me that night. I wasn't going to let him out of my sight. The next day, he was his normal self, so cautiously we went back to our routine. He didn't dwell on it, but I haven't stopped thinking about it in almost 3 decades. I have no idea what kind of horrifying thing he saw. Whatever it was not good because of his reaction, and after seeing what he perceived as a grandma-like figure in our kitchen that did not upset him, I can only conclude this entity was some kind of evil. I've had experiences with the paranormal myself over the decades, and as I said, I tried to be aware of anything happening with my son seeing things. He used to have prophetic dreams, not about major world events, just little things that he would tell me about that would come to fruition within days. Other than that, thankfully, he didn't mention seeing any more entities. To gain more understanding, I wish I could have seen what he saw in our hallway. To this day, I don't know what it was or why it was there. I can only assume my son was like a beacon, being so young and innocent. I'm just glad my actions that night didn't backfire and cause even more events like it. Thank you for reading, and if you have any insight as to what he may have seen, I'd be open to getting some resolution. Love the podcast. Thank you. And appreciate you taking the time to read this. I have other experiences, not quite so terrifying if you're interested. Yeah, we're interested. I'm just relieved to know there's some good mixed in with the horrifying events in our lives. Kat. Thank you again to Kat in Pennsylvania for submitting Uninvited Entity March 2025. And Vince, besides the fact that that was a really great story. Whoops, sorry guys. Do you know why I specifically chose that one?
Yeah, because...
Okay, I get to tell the story.
All right, you get to tell. It happened to me, though, right?
No. Oh, maybe you have a different idea. Okay.
Okay, go.
So, and Kat, if you're listening, hopefully this helps in some way. Years and years ago, when Vince first left California to move here with me, he had been living with his sister and her young son.
This is the story I was going to tell.
It is?
It didn't happen to me.
It didn't happen to you.
Yeah.
He was about 3 years old when this happened.
No,
so
I was like 30. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. My nephew.
I'm going to mute your microphone real quick.
Go ahead.
So his nephew, Joseph, was about 3 years old, so about the same age as Kat's son. And he was home with his mom, and they lived in this house with the living room had a very, very tall ceiling. It went all the way up to the second floor, and you could look up, and there was a balcony there where the bedrooms were. But you could see, up there. And he was sitting down on the floor in the living room or in the hallway playing, and he glanced up at the balcony area, and it's like daylight, and he starts screaming. And Vince's sister ran into the room and said, "What's wrong?" And he pointed up at the balcony and was crying, "Monster, monster." He just kept yelling, "Monster." And we don't know what it was. It wasn't a dark balcony. Like it was a very light, like the least creepy thing you can picture.
It was the least creepy looking thing.
Yeah.
But that place was...
Oh, it was creepy?
And I think it still is creepy.
No, I didn't get any creepy vibes there.
I mean, the last couple times I was there, it's just that we moved into that place at around the same time. It was a rental house. And so basically, I spent my first night in that house wandering around, like tiptoeing around, trying to figure out where the horrifying noises were coming from. There was nothing... I'm not talking about anything like evil voices or anything like that. But what I did hear were concerning... Okay, she's not supposed to get... Our dog, Freya,
just ignore her.
is climbing into the picture. What I did hear were kind of concerning sounds, like maybe some sort of unwanted breaking and entering. And
I definitely prefer the wanted breaking and entering to the unwanted. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the wanted ones, they're coming. So you call the police and say, "Hey, there's a guy going to break into my house at midnight tonight. Please be here to help me."
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of a creepy place for me. And I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I'm not the kind of person who always spins around and looks at to see what's behind me when I'm alone.
He does.
But yeah, it was a creepy place, and it was, it's not an old house, but a place doesn't have to be old in order to be haunted. It doesn't have to be built on a cemetery or Indian burial ground or anything, a Native American burial ground or anything like that, to have some sort of negative energy associated with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a legitimate experience in it. The story that you just read sounded exactly like that.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as I saw that monster, I was like reading this one, but also because it was extremely well written. So thanks, Kat.
Really
I liked it a lot.
Really was. Yeah. I vote that we go and take the bone away from Freya because she's rumbling the house.
Okay.
And do you want to take care of that while I read my next story, or shall I?
No,
do it
she
really
just
quick?
stopped. She's good.
Okay. And if she does that while I'm reading, I would prefer that you would take it away from her rather than kick her out of the house.
I would never kick her out of the house.
No, nobody kicks animals out of the house.
She's
in our
my
house.
baby.
If anybody's going to leave the house, it's going to be me.
That's right.
So, we come tonight to share some creepy stories with you. I have a creepy story.
Oh, yeah?
I do.
I mean, that's the whole point of being here, so I hope so.
This is kind of, it's not terribly short, but it's pretty sweet.
Okay.
Now, I have to preface this by saying that I'm going to have to put on an accent in order to read this.
Oh, he's so bad at accents.
No, okay. All right.
Don't put on the accent.
I just got to put on some airs. This story was submitted in June of 2001 to the website by S.J. Morrissey in Newfoundland, Canada. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
No.
And this song. 1, 2, 3.
You're doing good tonight.
Wow. And this story is called Red Riding Hood. For those unaware, Newfoundland is the easternmost province of Canada. It is also the furthermost eastern land point in North America. It is an island, one of the 10 biggest in the world, and is one of only 2 places on the planet with its own time zone. Such things, some are convinced, make the Rocky Isle one of the most haunted places in the world and perhaps the most haunted in the Americas. Above all, it is also my home. I have had 2 supernatural experiences, if you will, while on the rock. The fond nickname given the island by its inhabitants, that is, the Rock. While my father, when 13 years of age, lived for 1 month plus a week in a haunted house. Of my 2 experiences, I shall share one. The one that I shared with 4 of my friends. The other was a lone experience. Newfoundland is comprised of thousands of tiny coastal towns, most with populations as little as 2,000. During the early settlement of the Rock, the only method to reach the other towns was by boat. Nowadays, long, dark stretches of barren road connect the townships. These roads have no streetlights, and when the night takes its throne, the ebony shroud seems to grow thicker on these lone highways. One night, some 3 years past, myself and 4 of my good friends, my best friends in fact, were traveling from the town of Tilton to Bay Roberts via the Tilton Barrens Highway. It was a clear night, the stars tumbling about the sky, with the moon settled as a tiny sliver, a giant crescent in the heavens. From these celestial bodies came the only source of light on the barrens, apart from the headlights from the car. As we carried on our way, laughing and joking as 20-year-old guys do when together, we were broken by the sudden shift in the car's movement. Our driver had suddenly slowed the vehicle down while exclaiming a phrase not suitable to repeat here. We all soon took glance at the cause of his disrest. There, sitting upon the edge of the highway, on the gravel shoulder, was what appeared to be a little girl dressed in red, with a hood of the same crimson color. We all seemed to gasp in unison as the figure remained in its position, moving only slightly, as if it were playing with something on the ground in front of it. Our driver did not halt the car's motion entirely, and so we passed the little girl. Quick to react, however, we turned around, somewhat reluctantly, on that narrow highway. Yet upon our return to the spot, we found nothing. No sign that anything of any sort had even been there. Brave, I chose to get out of the car, armed with a flashlight from the glove compartment. I found no disturbance on the gravel, no footprints, no mark where someone may have sat, nothing of any kind. Uneasy, I took a hasty retreat back to the car. In a trice, we sped from the scene, with nerves on edge and minds confused. After the incident, we would all come to agree on two things. One, it was a little girl playing, apparently by herself, on an eerily lonely highway in the middle of the night, at an hour's walk from the closest town. Or two, it was a ghost. The first option seemed so remote that I disregarded it almost immediately. One of my friends still insists that it was indeed a real young child, perhaps lost. That seems unlikely, for if she were lost, why did she not approach the car? Besides, all the surrounding areas, due to their small size, would have heard the news of a lost child. Whatever the case, we all came to call the child Little Red Riding Hood. If she was lost, either literally or supernaturally, then I wish that she has found her home and her rest. Newfoundland is full of cases of hauntings and paranormal occurrences. It could be a haven for the serious ghost hunter. Its remote towns, dark nights, and huge stretches of wooded areas make for the ideal abode of restless spirits. Many on the rock believe, fewer disbelieve. And that was Red Riding Hood by S.J. Morrissey in Newfoundland, Canada, from June of 2001. I had a little particular joy reading that for some reason.
Yeah.
It was quite theatrical, and I hope I didn't do it disjustice.
No, but thank you for not doing the accent.
I don't think he had an accent. I think he just was. He has a way with words.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
That was
as someone who appreciates words.
That was a really great story.
It really was. And I mean, the bottom line: a couple of 20-year-old chuckleheads from Canada.
Chuckleheads.
They don't have those there.
They don't have chuckleheads in Canada.
They have fine,
it's a strictly New Jersey thing.
Fine gents up there. Cruising down the road at night, up to probably no good, but maybe a little bit of good, because they see a little girl. They see a ghost on the road, a ghost of a little girl. What would you do?
That's really hard to say. I'd probably drive back to make sure a time or two to make sure that I was actually seeing what I thought I was seeing. And then I think I would probably call the police. And as callous, that's not even a word. As callous as that sounds, there are stories of people. There was a story that I've heard it a few different times. These people they were driving through the mountains and they saw what they thought was a baby on the side of the road. Freya's knocking the camera. On the side of the road. And it was the middle of the night. So they pulled over to help because it was a baby, not a child. And so they pull over and the one guy gets out see. I think they had driven past a couple of times, and it wasn't a baby. It was a doll on a string, and I think it was on a string, and it got pulled into the woods or whatever. So yeah, I've heard stories about people using babies and children on the side of the road to get people to stop and help them, and then ambush them and rob them or whatever. So I don't think I'd be so quick to jump out, but I would definitely drive back, make sure that's what I saw, call 911, maybe sit at a safe distance.
And watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would let the kid out of my sight.
She's
I'm not
over me.
particularly fond of Little Red Riding Hood looking children, but I would feel a sense of responsibility being the only like adult on the road. I'd say, oh God, I wanted to go, get drunk or something. And now we have to sit here and babysit this weird kid on the side of the road. That would be the right thing to do. But it could also be one of the black-eyed children.
Ooh, maybe
Don't let that
she
thing
is.
don't let that thing in your car, man.
Okay, she is not going to stop. She wants to get up between us. So
And for those of you listening in podcast land right now, I will describe the sight of a very large and freakish white
she's beautiful.
dog trying to climb between us
She's
on the couch as we record.
come on, just get up here.
Nothing but live
Come on.
podcasting, guys.
Get up here and lay down. Come on,
This tail's going to cause some damage.
dude. She was banging me in the back of the head while you were reading with that tail. Okay, baby.
I'm fairly certain that the listeners and the viewers probably heard that percussion.
I'm sure. I'm sorry, guys. It's just there's a lot of sounds afoot at the castle, and now here comes Mr. Moon, and that's just how it is.
We could
It
always
will
say
never
that,
be any
guys,
different.
pretend it's a ghost cat. That makes it better.
Well, if he doesn't shut up, he might become a ghost cat. Threats,
Wow.
but jokes.
Joking threats.
Joking threats. Kind of.
So yeah, I love that story that I just told. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that I've never read it before. I mean, we've got 4,700 stories on this website. Mm-hmm. There's rooms in this castle we've never seen before, and you know what?
There are.
May never see.
There's a
Think
couple.
about it.
There is one room that I saw that I think I shouldn't have seen.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't clean up before you came in there.
Yeah.
You're talking about the kill room?
We have a kill room?
No, not at all.
Well, looks like I just found a new hobby.
Say, Jane,
Oh, say, Vince.
what have you got to share with us now? We are here telling ghost stories.
Yeah, I've got another one. And stop. She's just licking everything she can reach. My arm, Mr. Moon. Yeah, and actually my next story that I have to read, Vince,
Yes.
it reminds me a lot of the story you just read.
No way.
Yeah, and these were not coordinated in any way.
No, that would indicate that we were some sort of professionals, or that we came to this with some sort of organizational skills.
Yeah.
Look at me. There's no organization to this. It's all a happy accident.
Happy. An accident, maybe. Oh, no, you're not an accident. Okay.
Ghostkeeper Jane, hit me with your best shot.
Well, I tried, but you ducked. All right. This story is called Highway, and it was submitted by Logan Brash in Wisconsin, USA, May of 2003. And he starts out with a quote. On this earth that exists under the concavity of the heavens, nothing is seen that horrifies more, that provokes fear more, that ravishes more than the monsters we possess within us. Pierre Beausoleil. Never in my life have I been terrified more than what I saw on a highway about a year back. This highway was nothing out of the normal. It was quiet. The speed limit was 45, and it had no history of hauntings. It was a cool and dark spring night, and the moon rose high. The trees looked like monsters that were looking down upon me. I was alone and just driving, thinking about things. The radio was turned off. There's a stretch in the road by an old building that served as a picnic house because the yard next to it had a park. I can't remember the last time I saw anyone there, any kids. I was distracted and a little stressed out and was looking at the old picnic house when I saw a figure in the middle of the road. I couldn't make out what it looked like at that point. It was a man, though, human. I swerved out of the way the moment I saw him, hitting the brake hard. I was nearly thrown into a ditch, but came to an abrupt stop when I hit a tree. My car steaming, broken. I was mad. Who wouldn't be? And a little madness mixed with stress and family problems didn't make good. I got out of the car limping and bleeding a little from the head and walked towards the figure, swearing at him. "What the hell are you doing standing in the middle of the road, man?" I yelled. The figure had its back turned to me. The man was wearing a trench coat and turned around to face me. This man's face was every scary movie you could see. This man's face was white, his eyes red, glowing like fire. The best way to put it is that I was alone with a man on a highway who almost killed me, has no face, and red eyes. The makeup of his face was inhuman. I would waste my time trying to describe it to you. It looked like it had been burned, or like someone had thrown hot grease all over him. His face was so visceral and frightening that I let out a scream of terror. The man opened his mouth and laughed like he heard a joke. The laugh was vibrant, blood-curdling. What was even more blood-curdling was the screams and moans he let out as I began to run away and he began chasing after me. I was beyond petrified. I was so scared. I kept looking back as I ran and saw that his eyes were taking on the form of red and yellow. Soon his voice came closer and closer to me, which meant that he had to be getting closer and closer to me. The sounds that thing was letting out now sounded like he was crying and screaming and moaning at the same time. It was so high-pitched and loud at some point that I had to cover my ears, and soon I could feel the man's breath on the back of my neck. The man's hand came up and grabbed my neck. I can't remember much after this. All I remember was seeing a light coming down the road and then turning into two lights and then beeping and then me falling down. That terrifying scream echoing in the back of my head. I remember another figure coming up to me and screaming at someone to call an ambulance. I woke up in the hospital and with a scream. My head and legs hurt a little. Then a nurse came up to me and said something that I couldn't hear. I just heard audible sounds and moans from somewhere. Then my parents came. I stayed another night in the hospital, and my hearing didn't come back for another 2 days. All I could believe was what I saw the night before, and I was still afraid to even think of it. My hearing disability was obviously caused by whatever that creature that kept crying and screaming into my ears was. My parents still tell me that when they came to see me, that I was white as snow. In the daytime, about a month later, I went back to the highway with my friend Peter and saw some remains of my car, which was taken to the dump a couple of weeks earlier. We came to where I remember seeing the man and walked around a little bit. We walked around the park through the woods. Peter almost couldn't believe what I had told him, but he did believe that something had to scare the crap out of me. All I know is that this happened, and I don't know who the man was, why he was chasing me, why he was screaming, why he had red eyes, why his face was all messed up, and why he was in the middle of the road. I don't know anything, and I don't drive through that highway at night anymore. Thank you again to Logan Brash in Wisconsin, USA, for submitting Highway in May of 2003. How'd you like them haunted apples, Vince?
Those are some haunted apples.
They were haunted
What
apples.
the hell was that? What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Monster?
I mean, maybe
A drunkard?
with like glowing red yellow eyes and a melty face and like inhuman screaming, moaning, laughing stuff. Sometimes, here's what I think. I think that a lot of paranormal events on this planet can probably be attributed to like
Drugs.
and that can probably be attributed to like dimensions, or we've talked about it before, like the bubble. They talk about bubble universes and where those
Alternative realities.
Yeah. And where those bubbles touch, it's just like soap bubbles. If you think about it, you have two individual soap bubbles, but when they touch, they are, even though there's still a wall between them, they're able to share the water and the soap that makes the bubble. It can freely flow from one bubble to the next, and sometimes they do join and become a single bubble. But I think it could very well be, something like that, where our universe or reality or whatever is like this bubble, and where it touches another one, things can freely move between the two. Like, who knows? That could have been a perfectly normal guy in his reality. And maybe the guy who crashed into the tree, that guy was freaking out, like, oh, what? Why did this guy, or who is this? This is monster in this weird contraption just crashed into a tree, and now he's like screaming and running away, and I need to see if I can help him. Like, it could have been something like that. It could have also just been a demon. We're going with demon. Solved. It's a demon.
On Team Demon, yeah. Yeah. And, it's interesting that you should say that. There's a certain serendipity. Or is it serendipity? Maybe it's synchronicity in this episode. I can't believe that you told a story that took place on a road. And that you're...
And had the color red prominently featured.
And that you're drawing the distinction between demons, because today, before we came here, I spent a little bit of time. And I wrote something that I want to read to you guys. I want to share it. It's time for a new segment in the Castle of Spirits True Ghost Stories podcast.
Oh, a segment.
This is the Paranormal Top 10.
Nice.
Now, you've seen David Letterman, right? This is a direct ripoff.
Well, at least you're honest about it.
Except without like the highly paid writers and the skillful delivery and all that kind of stuff.
Or the camera ready and well rehearsed host.
Exactly.
With a good sense of humor.
The sense of humor, I claim ownership of a good one.
Claim.
Yeah. These are the top 10 signs you've got a demon and not a ghost.
Okay. Just want a caveat here.
What?
You're going to be hard pressed to convince me because I don't believe in demons.
Well, you're gonna believe it in this.
All right.
Because watch.
Okay, let's have it.
Okay. Do we do a drum roll now?
No
not
drum
yet.
rolls.
Okay.
Just get to it.
Number 10. Your furniture doesn't just move. It flies across the room like it's training for the paranormal Olympics.
Does that also go for like people? Because I'm picturing like, the Enfield horror.
Well, ghosts shuffle. Demons throw like they're auditioning for a supernatural UFC fight.
Okay.
So that's how you know that.
Okay.
The number 9 sign that you've got a demon and not a ghost is you find weird symbols drawn in blood. Ghosts leave cold spots, not stains.
I mean,
And demons leave you wondering if you need a priest or a cleaning crew.
but that's kind of our Tuesday afternoon.
Our Tuesday and our Wednesday, our Thursday, yeah. So I think we're demonically infested. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so far. Okay, number 8. Your pets are terrified, and they usually don't care about much. Cats nap through ghosts. Demons terrify your dog enough to seek asylum. So,
Well, we don't have a demon then.
well,
Except Canelo is afraid of everything. So there.
we may have a demon dressed as a dog. And I'm thinking that could be the case tonight.
She's a beautiful angel.
Number 7, sign that you've got a demon, not a ghost, is there's a deep voice whispering insults you don't remember inviting. See, ghosts say boo, demons say your cooking sucks, and different things like that.
It could just be me.
Number 6, you can't turn on any lights without them flickering like a rave party. See, ghosts are subtle. Demons throw a full-on electrical tantrum.
It could also just mean that you have old LED light bulbs. We just had one. Remember that light bulb was...
Don't harsh my what? What do you call it?
harshing your buzz.
My buzz? Am I buzzed on demons? Number 5 sign that you've got a demon and not a ghost. Objects randomly catch fire without explanation. Ghosts chill. Demons bring the heat.
I was wondering why that was happening.
Number 4. You wake up with scratches or bruises but don't remember falling. Ghosts are polite. Demons are a little bit heavy-handed.
I mean, that could also just be middle age.
I done sailed past middle age a little while ago. So,
Long time ago.
we're talking about what's next after that, right?
Not much. Just going to add you to the...
It's all downhill from here. Let's just throw our hands up in the air and scream as we go down.
We're just going to add you to the cavalcade of ghosts in the castle here.
One day we shall all join them in the castle. Number 3 sign that you're dealing with a demon and not a ghost is your reflection looks like it's smirking back at you, but you're not smiling. Ghosts are blurry. Demons are full-on trolling you.
All right. Well, it turns out I'm a demon.
Is that right? You make faces in the mirror all the time. It's a fun pastime. You guys should try it sometime. Number 2, you start developing a sudden, intense phobias. Like shadows or mirrors. You're afraid of them suddenly. See, the thing is, ghosts say boo, demons say run forever. So that's another sign.
Yeah.
But finally, the number 1 sign that you're dealing with a demon and not a ghost is the smell of sulfur is now your new house scent.
That's true. But you might also just own a boxer.
It could be. Ghosts smell like old books. Demons smell like your worst gym locker that never gets cleaned.
Demons smell like bud.
And teenagers' socks and things like that. So if you've ever wondered what the difference was or whether or not you've got a demon or a ghost, there you go. That's the primer that you must refer to. And that was our first edition and probably last.
Why last? It was fun.
The Paranormal Top 10.
I liked it.
I'm no David Letterman.
It's true.
But I like to think I have a nicer beard. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know. David Letterman's bringing the A game on the beard. When he quit the Late Show and grew the beard, and everybody was like, ugh, David Letterman has this big old man beard. I was like, don't hate it.
Well, anything to hide the ugly.
What? He's not an ugly man.
That's why we grow beards.
Do you have another story to tell the folks?
I do.
Then do it.
Do you have another story? Or
I
did you
don't.
read-
I've already read
Oh,
my two
oh,
very long stories.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, actually, I do have a story, but I kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to read some messages. We've gotten some really cool messages from people,
Yeah.
listeners of the podcast, and so on and so forth. And I would be remiss if we went any further without sharing some of these messages that we get from people.
All right, let's have it.
Let me see here. Now, Ron, a listener, Ron, our good friend Ron,
Mm-hmm.
he messaged recently and said he has an interesting idea for a new segment on the show. Wanted to bounce this off you guys and let us know what you think. He says we should do a segment on irrational fears.
Oh, yeah.
Listeners can send their irrational fears in to the show and we can read and comment about them. And Ron actually has one from his childhood that he can share right now.
Let's have it.
Ron says, when I was a kid, I was terrified that when I was out feeding the calves at night, carnivorous dinosaurs would come barreling in through the darkened 25 by 16 doorway in the barn and make a meal out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like an AC/DC song.
I wonder why.
Albeit the fact that there was no outside light on that side of the barn and there was nothing but a half mile of darkened fields that didn't help matters at all. No, of course not, dude. That kind of darkness, anything can live there.
Yeah. And it usually does.
I would try to get my chores done as quickly as possible just to get away from that door and hightail my rear end back to the house. Why did my mind conjure up that extinct carnivores were planning to make me into a late night snack? I don't know. Why did that fear continue to plague me into my late teens? Couldn't tell you. Come on, fess up, dude. It still scares you, doesn't it?
It's okay. There's no shame in it, Ron.
There's no shit. Like I said, I'm the kind of person who sometimes whirls around thinking that there's something standing behind me about to pounce.
There usually is.
And I don't know if that's something that's there is. How do you know? Is this news? This is news.
So, Vince, do you have an irrational fear to share? I mean, we have to share our irrational fears now.
The fear of mice is not irrational.
That's not an irrational fear.
Just
That's
like
a common one.
and you know, I mean, it's a rodent, and we've got it in our sort of like our cellular memory to stay away from rodents because they get near your stuff and
You
then
can
you
get
die.
diseases
and die, yeah.
and whatever. Yeah.
Irrational fears.
I have one.
Yeah, what?
Okay. When I was a little kid, I don't know how old, but there was a commercial around Halloween for Bacardi. You know, what is that? Rum? Is it rum? Bacardi?
Yes.
Okay. And I can't remember if it was Jack Palance or what's his name we were just talking about him the other day in Edward Scissorhands.
Charles Bronson.
Come on.
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price.
Yeah.
It was either Jack Palance or Vincent Price that was in the commercial. I can't remember which one. But at the end of the commercial, he said something like, now remember, it was Halloween, so all of the commercials had like creepy Halloween vibes to them. He said something like, I don't know, if it's not Bacardi, you better sleep with the lights on or something. And then there was like this creepy, like a woo, you know, from like a wolf. And something about that commercial really freaked me out. And my bedroom was in the basement and it was creepy. And I remember if I saw that commercial, guess what this girl did?
Drank rum.
I slept with the light on.
Oh.
And now I'm like, what are you doing? If you're scared, turn the light off because then the spookies can't see you.
Yeah, I think you got a point there.
Yeah.
No, they have night vision.
They have night vision goggles.
No, they don't have night vision goggles. They have... never mind. Anyway.
We almost started a podcast where all we did was talk about movies. So occasionally movie quotes still make it into this one.
That was from the interview with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
good.
That's
now,
what I had to
we
read
still
there.
need your irrational fear.
my irrational... I don't know, maybe you'd be better off telling me because I don't observe myself like you do. You observe me.
Your irrational fear is that the neighbor can see you through the frosted bathroom window.
Okay, man. We have a bathroom window that didn't have any frosting, and we didn't have any kind of blinds or anything
Well,
for
there
it.
were crappy blinds on it when
Yeah,
we
we threw
moved
them away.
in.
We get
We
rid of
threw
those
them
cheap
away.
ones.
We bought the cool stick-on stuff that makes
Right.
rainbows when the light comes through, and it's all cool looking. You can't see through it,
Yes, you can.
and yet he tells me the other
The
day.
thing is that who the hell puts a window right next to a shower?
I mean,
You
it's a
know,
bathroom.
I
If
remember-
the bathroom has a window, it's going to be right next to a shower.
I went to a house one time ages ago where I had to use the bathroom. The toilet was literally right in front of a window that went down to my ankles, this window. And the window was open. And I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to drop my pants in front of an open window.
Wait until he finds out about showers that have the bathroom window inside the shower.
Oh, no, I will, no. But so I'm coming out, and sometimes you have to open the window, right? Otherwise it's going to steam the place up real bad. And it was a hot day. I practically made eye contact with the next door neighbor who was out there doing the lawn work. And I'm like, oh my God, he knows what I look like. He knows my shower face. Anyway,
Your shower face. Which is funny, though, because we're good friends with them. And I told his wife, Vince said he made eye contact with your husband in the bathroom.
Oh, modern life. But speaking of bathrooms, my next story is called Burning Smell.
Oh,
And
Vince.
it was written by Danny in Derbyshire, UK in June of 2002. And it is called Burning Smell. I didn't just make that
Yeah,
up. This
I
is just
figured
all
as much.
flowing together beautifully tonight.
I wouldn't say beautifully.
Well, I beg to differ, I
You
beg
can
to
beg
differ.
all you want.
Just wait till you hear this story here,
Okay.
because I'll tell you something.
Okay.
And it goes a little something like this. I've always had experiences with ghosts. Nothing big, just things moving, disappearing, etc. I am clairaudient. That means that I can hear ghosts. I live in a haunted house. Though I have never actually seen a ghost, my brother has. He's a medium. I have felt him and heard him. He's called Colin, and he died in 1965. He's quite friendly. But this story is about an experience myself and a friend of mine who, up until this incident, scoffed at my beliefs and abilities. This happened about 2 years ago. My friend Andy is a computer programmer who, while on holiday from university, was helping out in the technical department of the local theater. He had been there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and one night at about 12:30 a.m., he rang me up. He was scared to death and asked me to come and collect him. I did, and on the way home he told me what had happened. He said that everything had gone off for about 5 minutes, but being an old building, he just lit a cigarette and waited for the power to come back on. When it did, he found all of the lighting direction papers had been thrown on the floor, but he had been sitting right next to them and hadn't heard a thing. Very much a scaredy cat, he grabbed his coat and ran outside to call me on his mobile, but just as he got to the foyer, he was overwhelmed with an incredibly strong smell of burning meat. Only like nothing he had ever smelled before. It made him feel sick, and he thought he could hear someone mumbling, but he was so worked up that he thought it was just his imagination. After he told me this, I got the impression that someone was trying to tell me something, but the sensation was similar to anyone who's ever tried to hear someone shouting through a window pane. It was very muffled. I agreed to go back with him the next day and asked James, my brother, to come along as well. We went at about 6 p.m. and started to help out moving props and helping the cleaners. Nothing happened again until around 12 o'clock a.m., when all of a sudden, James got very, very hot. In fact, he nearly passed out. Again, I could hear muffled noise and crackling like wood being burned. Then the smell came again, and Andy was right. It was sickening, but this time we stayed and waited it out for a while. James saw someone and we ran after them. We chased them into the foyer, and Jay said he could see a man in a shabby coat and a hat stood near the door. I heard the noise again, but this time I could hear a few words. The words were fire and hot. I asked the spirit to be at peace and told him that he was scaring people. I asked him to look for the light and told him he had to cross over and join his loved ones. Then everything just went still. Jay told us the figure is gone, and so had the smell. A few days later, Andy came to my house and told me that he'd seen the proprietor of the theater and told him everything. The man looked puzzled, then told him, years before, when he first became the manager, someone had told him that 50 years prior, the theater had been derelict and a fire had broken out, and the fire had broken out because some kids had been mucking around with candles trying to hold a seance. A tramp also found his way in there that night and was sleeping in the sound room. By the time he realized what was happening, the fire was out of control and he managed to fight his way to the foyer, but the roof fell down and crushed him. He died from heat and smoke inhalation. The theater manager told Andy that many people had heard or caught glimpses of the ghost, or that sometimes the smell would be so overpowering that they would have to go outside. I went back not long ago to see my sister-in-law in a play, and the place is totally at peace. And that was Danny from Derbyshire, UK, in June of 2002 with this story called Burning Smell. I almost said song again. With a song called Burning Smell, and I'm going to play it for you now.
Oh, that was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
theaters creep me out. You know?
I mean, theaters are always haunted, but you mentioned that he said it smelled like burning meat.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about, the building burnt down. And I was like, well, where's the meat smell come from? And then we found out. Didn't like that. Mm-mm.
No,
Mm-mm.
Burning meat.
Yeah.
Not so good when it's coming to the theater that burned down 100 years ago or so. But I know that we know a lot of people who are into theater.
Yeah.
A lot of people who listen to this very show. And I wonder if you guys have any stories to do with kind of creepy theaters that you've worked at, or haunted theaters, or anything like that.
In fact,
actors, I think, are a little bit psychic sometimes.
In fact, my brother's kid is in chat, Lily, and just did a Yellow Jackets vibes. Just did a play at a local playhouse. So, Lily, if there's any ghost stories from that playhouse, you gotta let us know. We want to know everything.
Yeah, I think audience members are not the ones necessarily to talk too much about that, but definitely the people who've worked in there and been there after hours, when it's empty, when a lot of people have gone home, that sort of thing, before they've arrived. Yeah, you got any stories? We want to hear about them.
We really want to hear any stories that you have, like, at all. Like, as long as it's weird in some way, we pretty much want it. It doesn't have to be a ghost. It doesn't have to be an obvious haunting. It just has to be, like, weird and mysterious. And, so don't hesitate. If you're sitting on a story and you're like, I don't know if they want that one. Yeah, we want that one too. So you can actually just head on over to castleofspirits.com/submit and, send us those stories.
Yeah, share your stories, because that's the only way that we're going to hear it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's that simple. It sounds dumb, but it's true.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we have lots of stories yet to tell from the Castle of Spirits, and we're going to be back again next week with another round of stories. Hopefully our the beasts of the castle will have calmed down a little bit more. Maybe we should give them a little bit more morphine before the show starts.
We did not drug our animals, and they shall not be calmed. They will do whatever it is that they want to do. Oh, hey, you know what? I'm really not very good at my job. Guys, please understand that I am not only the ghost keeper, I am
the audio engineer.
The audio engineer. Like, I'm running this show over here. So I did not unmute the outro music. So, yeah, you didn't hear it, but that music was coming down the hall.
Oh,
so,
was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah,
was it playing
was.
for the whole show?
Yeah, for the whole show.
Awesome. That music is indication that we must go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we have, almost a minute and a half to BS while it happens. So.
Oh, I have really good, a really good ending here. So.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend like we're going to do this thing.
Time.
We're going to make pretend that I came up with this thing on the spur of the moment, but I actually had to work hard on it. So, yeah. Visit us at castleofspirits.com. Tell a friend. Well, before you do that,
don't tell friends yet.
Make sure you follow us on social media at Instagram and Facebook for now.
Yep. And remember that we are not only a podcast, but we also do it live on YouTube every Saturday night, like those in chat right now know.
So far, so good. We'll see how that works out with the beasts. But you can come in and check us out and look at us in flagrante, or you can just close your eyes and listen to the audio version, which is probably what I would recommend. Yeah. And okay, reminding you now that if you like this podcast, tell a friend.
And if you hate it, what you have to do is go out there and tell 2 people that you hate more than anything else.
Tell 2 enemies.
Enemies, that's right, not hate.
Because why keep secrets when you can start feuds?